So in the hydrosphere chapter, you know that you have in the hydrosphere chapter is 9, I guess, that you have a hydrological cycle, you have ocean, you have movement of ocean, water, tides, and everything. In the lecture video, you know that. So the total water reservoir ocean contain 97% approximately. So the biggest freshwater deposit or reservoir is glacier. Glacier means ice cap, glacier means mountain glacier, and also continental glacier. You have two types of glacier, we know that, and in the end of the course we will actually learn a lot about that. So that glacier is the most deposit of the fresh water. So we have underground water, very tiny. We have surface water, less than that. We have atmospheric moisture, very very tiny, and also biological moisture, it's very small. So make sure that you have an understanding about the different reservoir of the water. So you see, glacier, so glacier moves very slowly, and that actually make land form, but it takes a long time to do that. You have glacier, mountain glacier, Sark glacier, alpine glacier, we have that. And another glacier, we have ocean ice, that Arctic and Antarctic circle. We have Greenland, we have Arctic circle, we have Greenland, and we have also in the South Pole we have Antarctic. So Antarctic ice sheet is very thick, sometimes it's a 4 kilometers thick. So all this we have. So make sure that you know about the glacier and amount of fresh water we have, and what's the percentage, that would be very important. I believe that you have understanding about salinity and the distribution of the salinity in the ocean. So if you look at over here, if this is the 0 degree latitude, over here we have more incoming solar radiation, more convectional rainfall, and that convectional rainfall is making our salinity low because the fresh water is adding on the ocean surface water. That's why salinity is low, and that ocean current is carrying this water over here. And over here, if you see the subtropical high and also the subtropical high in the south, I would say Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn, those region, you see the most evaporation happens. So evaporation over here exceed the precipitation, but here the evaporation rainfall exceed the evaporation. So that's why we have high salinity over the Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn over here. Okay, you need to know that all this factor. And then you have the water reservoir, water cycle. One of the things that water, most evaporation happens into the ocean, and then that evaporated ocean moisture carried out by the wind to the land, and then you have a lot of rainfall, precipitation. Then that rainfall and precipitation carry the water by the river or channel system and get back into the ocean again. That's whole cycle, we call it water cycle. And then we have first evaporation, then we have condensation, and then we have transpiration. And the transpiration means that biological things, that green plant move the water into the atmosphere, and then the wind carry this moisture content into the land inland. That's horizontal movement, that's called advection. And then if precipitation happens, because condensation happens, cloud form happens, then precipitation happens, rainfall happens, then it become runoff and carried out by the channel to the ocean again, and this is called water cycle. You need to know all these things, and the runoff has the stream channel and also subsurface flow. That's the different things we have in the water. Now another thing, very important things I would like to mention is the tide. So tide is important because based on the tide we have different types of phenomena over the ocean, over the river, and sometimes we feel that on high tide we actually evacuate many places. But the main thing in here, so the lunar tide and the solar tide. So our sun is far away from the earth, so the gravitational pull of the sun is much, I would say 50% less than the gravitational pulls of um, this moon over here. So over here if you look at the solar tide, this is the solar tide over here, but when moon is moving, you see the swallow of the ocean water is moving towards, and that is making the tide. So ocean tide are result of solar tide and lunar gravitational force. You need to know that. Now, what is permafrost? Permafrost is actually the frozen ground. We find permafrost in the higher latitude, something that somewhere in 60 degree to the north, 60 degree to the south. So we have that frozen ground, and this permafrost actually preserve methane gas. So when permafrost melt, methane gas released to the atmosphere. So make sure that you know what is permafrost.